Hey guys, so this video is going to kind of conclude our week 4. Me and Sam are going to be giving our testimonies, how we became Christians and what it's like now for us. So me and Sam have known each other for a really long time now. We were babies. Like, no, not babies, but like we were
Probably
in
18 years.
our teenage years. Yeah, when we met, and so we have really struggled together. We've gone through a lot of our testimony kind of together, and so I'm just gonna start out. When I was younger, I wasn't really looking for a relationship with Jesus. I honestly didn't even know who he was. I was in a really, really bad spot in my life. My mom and dad were going through there was a lot of changes in the house. Like, my mom and dad were addicted to drugs and alcohol, and I began to be spiritually attacked throughout the entire time. But when I was like 11, up until the time that I was like 16, when my mom and dad passed away. So let me just backtrack. I was about 10 years old when I started going to church camp. Wasn't really looking at it as like, anything other than an escape to, my childhood problems. And I went a couple of summers, and then I decided that one day when I was we were doing worship, I just remember this song that it went like, there's a big, big house where lots of food, a big, big table with lots of food. Yeah, no, and like ever since I was like,
big house.
Where
it's our father's house.
Yeah, we could play football. And then, so, I just remember thinking how that sounded a lot better than what I was experiencing at home, and I started learning more about Jesus. And so when I was younger, I kind of fell off a little bit. I became really, really depressed. I began to have spiritual attacks on me in my sleep, with sleep paralysis, and then there was a lot of things that was going on at my house that were unexplainable to me, and like Satan really began getting a grasp into my house, and I just began to push back. And I became on fire for God when I was about 15 years old. I really started hitting it, started going to Beacon of Hope, and then I told my dad one night when he was drinking, I said, "Dad, I'm going to get baptized." And I just remember him looking at me and saying, "Well, do you really feel like that's going to change anything? Do you think that that's going to be helpful for you? Like, that's a big deal." And I said, "I know when I'm going to do it. I'm going to get it done, and whether you're going to be there or not is up to you, but this is something I need to do." So I remember this was before my mom passed away. We marched up to the steps, and I was so awkward and so shy, and I just remember, like, I knew that this is what I wanted, but I was so scared because I had never openly admitted it before in my entire life. And so that day I ended up getting baptized, and then afterwards, me and my mom were driving home, and I was like, I feel like something has changed. I feel like there's something that I'm not holding on to anymore, and it feels like it's gone. Like, and then every single one of my problems that had been so persistent, like the sleep paralysis, the nightmares, the weird, unexplainable noises that were happening in my house all hours of the night, they all went away. And I wasn't attacked anymore. I didn't feel threatened. If anything, I felt more empowered because I had fully given my life over to Jesus, and I had been baptized, and I had fulfilled his command for me. So that's one of the things that really made me feel like I had control over, and Jesus had always made me feel extremely protected and happy, and I felt like I finally had a relief of all of the stress that was going on in my life with my mom and dad. And from there on, the next year, I ended up losing my mom and my dad within 9 months of each other. And Sam had also lost her mom. And it was just a really, really challenging time. So I had dealt with a lot of depression. She had dealt with a lot of depression too. And we were really just trying to navigate the best way that we knew how, dealing with, coping with the loss of our mom and the loss of my dad as well. And so we kind of branched off a little bit and started focusing on ourselves a little bit. And then
lost
contact for a little bit. And then I started my family with my husband, and eventually me being saved helped my husband find his relationship with Jesus as well. So I want to thank my friend Abby Markins. I forget what her last name is now because she's married now. But Abby, if you're watching this, I just want to thank you because you helped me reach the point where I got saved, and I am forever grateful for that moment. And because of that, my husband is now saved, and we're both essentially living great lives now after years after all of the trauma and depression. So I hope you guys loved this episode. And I'm now going to hand over the reins to Sam so that she could tell you guys her testimony. Bye, guys. I hope you enjoyed this season.